How much cardio do you need to do before your gains start to slip away? Watch this.
Our first caller is Jason from Nova Scotia.
Jason, what's happening? How can we help you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So my name's Jason Murphy. I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada. I'm just going to jump right into my question here and then give you some background information. So I picked up listening to you guys summer of 2022. I don't think I've missed any episodes. So I've heard you talk a lot about walking and cardio and the signal that it sends. So my question is, with the idea that cardio sends an endurance signal to the body that can conflict with the strength building signal, at what point would the intensity level of walking shift from recovery and healthy movement, to cardio and interfere with the muscle building signal? So I'm thinking in terms of, intensity, volume, how many times a week, frequency, number of steps, those types of things. And I'll give you some background and the reason why I'm asking the question. So right now I'm 40 years old. I've got 2 boys. I've got a high intensity job working for a regional center of education. I own 2 businesses. I'm co-owner of a microbrewery and I'm sole owner of a property development company. I've got an awesome girlfriend, so life's busy for me. I do like to run. So in the spring, summer, fall, I like to run twice a week, 5 kilometers, and that takes me between 22 and a half and 25 and a half minutes to do that. So back in 2022, I was weighing 250 pounds. I was doing a lot. I was trying to get 100,000 steps per week. I was running 3 times a week. I was strength training 6 times a week, eating 2,200 calories with the occasional summer barbecue where I got up to, 3,000-4,000 calories. Wasn't happy with my results. Listened to you guys. I decided it was time to try a reverse diet / bulk. Reversed way too hard. I did listen to your metabolism boosting episode somewhere back in October and bought the metabolism boosting pack. So I got the Guide to Reverse Dieting, Powerlift, Anabolic. I will say through that reverse, I did get up to 275, but I did hit some PRs. I did anabolic. I followed it with symmetry, and then I did anabolic again, and I was able to squat 405 and deadlift 495. And after that, in January, I decided I need to start a cut again. It went well. I did anabolic, I did aesthetic, and I did phase 1 of cardio. In April, I picked up running again 1 to 2 times a week. I aimed for 10 to 12,000 steps a day. And I got myself down to 225 pounds. My squat was still 405, and my deadlift dropped to 455. So right now, my goal is to reverse back out of this. I want to keep my weight below 240. I want to get up to 3,200 calories per day. I plan on doing it slow. I'm hoping to hit 3,200 calories around January. My programming plan right now, I'm doing phase 2 and phase 3 of symmetry. While I'm still running 1 to 2 days a week. So I still have a race in early October that I'm still training for. And then after that, I'm going to head into anabolic advanced. And I'm going to drop the running because I'm a fair weather runner. I don't like doing it when the weather's shitty. So I'm going to back off of that. I guess my question is, again, at what point what signal should I look for to know that I'm interfering with that muscle building signal? Because as I get into anabolic advanced and reverse dieting, I want to build muscle and I want to gain strength.
Yeah,
Jason, are you like 6'5"?
Yeah,
how tall are you?
That's what I was just going to ask that.
I'm only 5'11".
Chinks.
Whoa. You're 5'11", you bulked up to 275, and then you cut down to 225?
Yes.
What's your body fat percentage at? Do you know?
I don't know exactly. I've never measured it. I try and compare it to pictures. I think this summer when I was 225, it would have been right around 20%.
Were you jacked or were you fat? What'd you look like at 275?
Well, so I gained muscle and strength, but I was way too fat.
Okay, so a 50 pound.
You do not look like somebody who even can carry that.
Yeah,
you look way leaner than that.
Trying to picture that.
A 50 pound swing in body weight
is a lot.
At your from 275 to 225 at your height is way too much.
Yeah. I thought
so you didn't do a reverse
taller.
diet. You just went. You
went ham.
Yeah,
bro.
you binged. And then the cut sounds a little aggressive, and you're doing a lot of extra. Like, what's your goal? What is your goal here? Is your goal just to move and be busy? Do you have a specific goal?
I mean, I've got 2 young boys that are busy, so I want to be able to keep up with them, and I can now, which is good. I want to be strong, but right now, as I get into next summer, the long-term goal is aesthetically, I want to be better than I was this past summer. So I'd like to be 225 or less. And instead of, 20-ish% body fat, I'd like to be 15-ish% body fat.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could do all that with all the running and stuff too. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you a general answer because context matters here with the question that you asked. If you're training cardio to try to improve stamina and endurance and you're pushing it, that's when it starts to interfere with strength training. It typically interferes when you're pushing for competing performance goals. Strength and maximum endurance tend to compete. Now, if you're just walking and you're not training walking, like you're trying to go for crazy distance to improve performance, it's fine. It's probably okay. Now, context matters. If your calories too low, if you're overstressed, if you're not sleeping enough, then, that could also be too much. But generally speaking, it's fine as long as you're not training to maximize endurance while you're training to maximize your strength. It sounds like you're doing too much, and it sounds like you're going too far in either direction with all of this.
This is actually a lot easier than it needs, or it's going to be easier than
way easier.
Yeah, than it needs. Like you do way more than you need to. You know what I love to tell somebody who's not like a hardcore, like people that just don't love running, but they want to keep the car, like just focus on your mile time. Like literally, like you should be able to run a mile under 10 minutes. If you're a relatively fit person, you can improve that relatively quick. And I tell you right now, very few times in your life are you ever going to have to chase anybody longer than a mile, and you're going to be just fine. Like this, people go from that to like 30-minute, 40-minute, these huge, like unless you want to be really good at doing 40 minutes of cardiovascular endurance type training, then there's no reason to train that much. I would literally run a mile. Like I would run a mile and improve my mile time and find a place you love it at where you feel like, man, I feel good when I keep it under X amount of minutes and maintain that. And you could literally do that every other day running before you train. Yeah. It's that simple on the cardio side. And then the weight training, you don't even need to be doing as much lifting as you're doing. A full body routine 3-4 days a week is going to build an epic physique. And if you can still run a mile under 8 minutes and you're training 3-4 days full body, you can build an incredible physique.
You're eating what now? What are you eating at? 2,200 calories a day?
I've bumped it up to between 23 and 24 now as I'm trying to reverse.
Yeah, I would.
Towards 32.
I would reverse up to 3,000 while trying to build. I mean, for a guy your size, you want to be around that, maybe even a little higher. I wouldn't do I wouldn't reverse super fast. I would give yourself some time, and I would just focus on strength and muscle, and I wouldn't worry so much about pushing performance and endurance. Walking is totally fine. You want to do it like what Adam said. I mean, that's, you could do that a couple days a week, no problem. Wouldn't be an issue. And that's pretty much it. Because I've worked with so many people, Jason, I'm getting a very strong sense that you're the kind of person that overdoes it. That's just overdoing everything. Overdoing the diet, overdoing it when he bulks, overdoing it when he cuts.
You think?
Doing the workout. And with your reverse diet, you should not see a 50-pound swing in body weight. If you reverse diet properly, you'll go up from what your body weight is now, you'll go up maybe 10 pounds at most.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And by the way, the reason why none of us answered the actual original question, which is like, where's the cardio threshold? There's actually cardio threshold is what that means is once your heart rate exceeds a certain heart rate, you then dip into cardiovascular endurance versus just moving. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why none of us answer that is because that changes all the time. And so
it's individual.
Yeah. So the more cardiovascular endurance adapted you are, the higher that number is going to be. So in other words, somebody who always runs all the time, they could get away with doing that and never even dip. Like they could get away with like a pretty good light jog and never even jump into cardio threshold versus somebody who doesn't ever do that. And then they barely do a power walk and they could dip into their cardio threshold. Yeah. So it really has a lot to do with your cardiovascular endurance on when does it tip over from being just activity and walking type of movement versus cardiovascular endurance training has everything to do with where your level is. But again, back to my original point, if you just want to because I have very similar goals. I'm over 40 years old. I have a kid. I want to be able to play sports with him and kind of run. I want to be faster than he is until I no longer am. And so if I can keep my mile time down, There ain't much he can do that's going to burn me out to where I can't sustain that. And that is enough that I'm not ever sacrificing my gains or building muscle and building the physique, which is what I'm more passionate about. I'm more passionate about being strong, feeling good, looking good. And as long as I can run around and play with him and kick his ass at most things, I'm pretty happy. And so keeping a good mile time while also building an awesome physique is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to do that.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'll tell you, I'm a hyper competitive person. I do 3 races a year with my girlfriend and my friends, and right now I'm the fastest of the group, and I don't want to lose that. But I'm conflicted because strength training, being strong, and building a great physique is more important to me. But I hate losing, so I have a hard time giving up the running for sure.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to make a choice.
Yeah, something's got to give. Something's got to give, and it seems like you go all in on whatever it is you decide you want to do for time, and you don't need to do that. You can literally have a nice balance of staying. And here, there's nothing wrong with like keeping your mile time down, and then let's say you get a wild hair, and you're like, you know what, I want to train for a race for the next 2 or 3 months, and then you can shift your focus of strength training and being the super strong guy to now being more cardiovascular guy. That's what's beautiful about cardio endurance. Yeah. You can shift that in a week
it's
to
a
2
very
weeks.
quick adaptation.
Super fast.
Yeah.
The strength training and building the physique and building the metabolism and sculpting a body, that takes consistency and diet, and it's slow, and it's like, so I would put almost all my focus on that, while also like, okay, as long as I can keep my mile time so I can still do it under 8 minutes, I'm fit enough that I know that if I needed to turn it on for a race in a month, I could turn it on and be ready for that race. That's how I would, if I'm you, that's how I would approach my training. Is I would always keep a decent mile time, but everything is focused around building the metabolism, building the physique, looking a certain way. And then when I get those, once a year, twice a year where I want to go compete in a race, I know within a couple weeks I can be ready for that race since I've been maintaining a good mile time easily.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
You got it, Jason. Thanks for calling in.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, ultimately, it's really just, are you trying to build endurance while you're trying to build strength? By the way, based on what you said, it's like building muscle and strength, slow to come, but also slow to go. Mm-hmm. Stamina and endurance, quick to come, but also quick to go.
Easy. Easy
fast,
both ways. That's why it doesn't, and I tell you what, if you keep a good mile time, where he could
yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, he could keep if he keeps his mile under 8 minutes or even less.
Yeah.
And that's 7 or 8 minutes of running. That's not a lot of running.
No.
7 to 8 minutes of running.
Keep that volume down low.
Yeah, you keep that right there, and then the rest is all focused on building a physique and training. Like,
I mean, I'm always keeping this in mind too, and even just doing like HIIT sessions and doing things where I'm like a little bit of circuit training, a little bit of something to address just stamina in general. I think it's a good thing to consider. But yeah, I mean, you don't really need much more than that to be able to just get up and go.
Yep.